yield to the gentleman from California. Oh, okay, the gentleman from Maryland for 5 minutes, Mr. Ivey.
This, so I'm clear on that conversation, is this about juveniles?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I had thought that juvenile information was protected and not made publicly available, but we'll set that to the side for the moment. And I appreciate the fact that you're offering to have the communications ongoing. I wanted to go to the CISA discussion that's come up, because again, in Homeland Security, we've spent a lot of time on this issue. This committee has as well. I think, for example, they did a deposition of Ms. Nina Jankowicz, like 4-hour deposition here, and others on these issues. But I wanted to ask, actually I don't want to ask, I'm going to say this. You know, the CISA mission with respect to protecting elections from challenges that we've seen, and we've discussed this at Homeland Security, and this is, I think, publicly available information, but the United States in 2024 is facing clear efforts by China, Russia, Iran, and other groups and countries to interfere in our elections. And one of the things that CISA, I think, is trying to do is to find ways to protect the election integrity, whether it's at the state level or the federal level as well. And part of the way that they do that is to work with state legislatures, state secretaries of state, and also, in some instances, social media platforms. So the hearing we did, we've done several of these in Homeland Security, and maybe these are some of the thousands of documents that you produced, but I've seen them already as well as part of those hearings. Those are communications between, frequently, on occasion it's somebody in the federal government, but frequently it's between people on the social media platforms, Microsoft or whoever. In many instances, they're state secretaries of state or state officials who have a question about misinformation or false information. For example, poll X is closed right now when actually it isn't. And they want to make sure that that misinformation is taken down so that the electoral process isn't undermined and people who have the right to vote don't have that taken away from them by this kind of election interference effort. And I actually saw Republican efforts to, when they identified misinformation with respect to polls. I think one of the instances I had an email about this and made it part of the record in Homeland Security. They called the social media platform themselves and said, correct that information and take it down so people, voters don't get the wrong information. So what I saw of it was that it was bipartisan, at least on the ground. It's morphed into something different here in Congress, at least with respect to the House Republican leadership and some of the ways they've tried to approach this and turn it into something where it's, an election integrity effort to steal the elections or something along those lines. And I might have been in the committee next door where they, argued these were First Amendment violations. But I think it's important for the American people to know that we have adversaries out there who are trying to undermine American democracy. And the 2024 election is at risk, frankly, by some of these foreign agents. They're trying to find ways to undermine it. I really want to commend CISA and the department for trying to find ways to attack that. I don't want to attack the private sector people, some of the social media platforms who've been participating and trying to work with the government, state or federal, or any other actors who want to try and protect elections as well, and recognize that social media platforms, in some instances, have been used by some of these foreign adversaries to spread misinformation and disinformation in an effort to undermine our democracy. And that's not just for elections, that's other scenarios too. So I want to thank you all for the work that you're doing. I also did want to, just before I run out of time here, raise my concern about this committee's attacks on government employees, federal government employees in particular, who are really just trying to do their jobs. Ms. Jankowicz was one of the worst examples of that. She ended up having to hire security to protect her from people who were making threats, some of them fed by people in the House of Representatives on the Republican side as we sit here now. And that's not the way this should work. It really isn't. People who are just trying to do their jobs, work for Uncle Sam, and do the right thing to make America better, safer, and stronger don't deserve to be attacked in that way. So I see my time has expired, but again, I hope that we can find a bipartisan way to stop attacking you all for these issues and protect our elections from some of our foreign adversaries who are actually trying to undermine them as we speak. And with that, I yield back.
I just inquired, and the gentleman's not suggesting that anyone on this subcommittee is attacking government employees by inquiring about status of subpoena replies.
Not this subcommittee at this moment, but in the transcripts that this subcommittee and this committee will not release publicly, that's absolutely the case. And that's also absolutely been the case in social media statements that have been made, whether it's on X or Twitter or whatever. And I don't want to name people because, then we get into that issue. But yeah, Nina Jankowicz was personally attacked by members of this committee.
Full committee? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely. If I can share the information with you whenever you'd like, and we made it part of the record actually during her deposition here and when she testified on Homeland Security. So it's not secret. I'm happy to share
I appreciate the gentleman. The subcommittee controls what it can. General.